2, and 1. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Brighton Town Board meeting tonight, October 28th, 2020. I'm Bill Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and I'm pleased to have you all here. Again, we are broadcasting this meeting. We are meeting remotely. We are broadcasting live on Spectrum Brighton Community Cable Access Channel 1303, and also on the Town of Brighton YouTube channel. Live streaming there, and the link to that is right on our webpage. All of that in compliance with Governor Cuomo's ongoing executive order modifying the terms of the open meeting law to allow remote meetings for local governments. We will, in a moment, go to our open forum as we do at the start of every meeting. We'll be doing that after tonight's proclamations. Actually, just one proclamation tonight. If you do want to call in during the open forum, you can call at 303-3060. That's 303-3060. I'll remind everybody again, but if you want to call in to comment on either of the two public hearings relating to the town budget tonight, I'll encourage you to wait until we open those public hearings. We also, as we have been doing now for some time, our meeting is interpreted by our ASL interpreters, Ali Foey and Paige Geisler. Ali and Paige, good evening and thank you. We appreciate your work tonight. Tonight's agenda and all of the material that we're reviewing in consideration for tonight's meeting are also available on the town's webpage, so you can follow along with us. I'll start the meeting with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As I mentioned a moment ago, we will be holding tonight our second public hearing on the town budget. When we began our budget process back in June, I had expected that there would be some modicum of COVID relief coming from the federal government that would help transition local governments like Brighton and local school districts, like the 5 school districts that serve Brighton, through the depths of the pandemic and the economic dislocations that we have suffered during the pandemic. I expected we would receive some kind of support, but in preparing the budget, we planned for the worst. We hoped for the best, but we planned for the worst, recognizing the need to continue to provide essential services to our residents and also to maintain Brighton's fiscal strength. Now, several months later, the Senate has adjourned, having rushed through the confirmation of a Supreme Court justice, but not having even bothered to take a vote on COVID aid for local governments. So unfortunately, our planning for the worst appears to be the prudent plan. We will be proposing in the budget a spending increase of only about 1%. A very minor increase when you look at some of the mandated spending increases that we have, like a double-digit increase in the state retirement system, a significant increase in our healthcare premiums for our employees. So it took a lot of hard work by our finance team, Paula Parker, Suzanne Zaso, to keep that spending at a 1% level. However, although spending is increasing 1%, the town tax rate will be increasing by about 3.4%, or a $34 increase on the year for the typical home in Brighton valued at about $200,000. There will also, that's the tax increase for the general highway, library, and debt service funds, the primary town budget. Depending on where you live, you are also in one or more special districts, which will also, in many cases, have additional increases: street lighting, sidewalks, snow removal, and the like. I believe it's a prudent budget. We'll have the opportunity to discuss it one more time tonight, and it does maintain that balance of fiscal responsibility while funding the essential services that we expect in Brighton. And speaking of those essential services, it's that time of year where every meeting I'll talk about leaf pickup, because I know folks out there are talking about leaf pickup. We're seeing them come down in the wind, in the rain. Both our bulk and containerized leaf pickup activities are well underway. To give you some idea why I encourage people every year to containerize their leaves, either in trash receptacles or those brown paper bags, or even the new reusable containers that you can get at some of the hardware and big box stores. Our containerized crew from the highway department has already completed a full pass through the town, while the bulk pickup takes significantly longer to make it through the town. So if you can containerize your leaves, we encourage you to do that. We're unlike other towns that either require you to take your leaves to the landfill yourself, or that have a hard and fast date, December 1st or so, that they stop picking up leaves. We will be picking up leaves as long as it takes and as long as we can, weather permitting. You will hear me say again and again and again, leaves should never be placed in the pavement, on the street. They should remain on your lawn, between the sidewalk and the street, if you have a sidewalk, or on your lawn close to the street, but not in the street. When you put your leaves in the street, you've heard me say it before, they pose a hazard to drivers, to pedestrians, to cyclists. Think of those school kids, 7 o'clock in the morning, going to school. It's still dark out. And if they're riding their bikes, which we hope they will still in this weather, or walking, they may be, darting out into the street around leaf piles, and tough to see. So please don't put your leaves in the street. They can also cause neighborhood drainage problems. They back up the storm drains and can cause neighborhood flooding. We really don't want to issue tickets to people for putting your leaves in the street, but I know there are scofflaws out there that think it's okay. It's not okay. Tonight, we're going to say, please, please, don't put your leaves in the street. Pile your bulk leaves on the lawn or containerize them. If you pile them in the lawn, your lawn will not die. Your lawn is going to be going dormant anyway very shortly. Your lawn will not die. Our crews will be picking them up. They are working hard. We've got 3 crews out there every day that we possibly can to make it happen. And Mike, I want to give a shout out to our highway department crews. This is not nice weather. It's been cold and raw every day this week, but they're out there picking it up. And I know our residents appreciate that, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Last thing I want to talk about real quickly, many of you were able to join us for our first Zoom information meeting on community choice aggregation. Community choice aggregation is coming to Brighton in January. You'll hear it called CCA. CCA will mean that Brighton residents and small businesses will be able to be served with 100% renewable source electricity generated right here in New York at a price that is not only fixed for 2 years, but cheaper than the current RG&E pricing for non-sustainable source power. This is a win-win for all of us. Most Brighton residents and small businesses will be getting a letter in the next week or two describing the CCA program and letting you know that while RG&E will still deliver the electricity and handle any maintenance issues, if there's outages, storm outages and the like, RG&E and their crews will handle that. But your electricity will be coming from a new supplier, Source Energy. We're going to be holding additional Zoom meetings that will advise everybody in the community, and you'll have the opportunity to learn more about that. And of course, again, you'll be getting this letter and other communications. But I think the most important thing I want to stress tonight is that if you want to remain in the CCA, if you want to participate in the CCA, if you want renewable energy at a price that is fixed and cheaper than the price that RG&E gives you, don't do anything. You don't have to do anything. You will automatically, most residents, be enrolled in community choice aggregation. If you already have another ESCO, an energy supply company, you'll have to look to see whether you can terminate them and then join the plan. But for most residents, it's going to be very easy. You're going to hear about it. We're going to try to tell you as much as we can about community choice aggregation. But starting in January, you're going to be the beneficiary of 100% renewable energy at a cheaper price. We're excited about it. I hope you'll be excited about it. We're working with RG&E to make sure the transition is as seamless as it can be. Stay tuned for a lot more information about community choice aggregation. All right. Our open forum. We do have one proclamation tonight. October each year is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas each year in the United States, an estimated 250,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer, and approximately 42,000 women perish from the disease. Whereas when breast cancer is detected in its earliest stages, either through self-examination or as a result of a mammogram, there is a 90% 5-year survival rate. And whereas prevention and early detection are key to winning the fight against breast cancer, with a study from the Journal of Women's Health reporting that more than half of cancer survivors state that they first became aware of an abnormality by their own self-examination. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month provides an opportunity to remind women and men, because yes, women and men can be afflicted with breast cancer. It's an opportunity to remind us all to maintain a healthy lifestyle with nutritious food and regular exercise for prevention, and to perform self-exams and get mammograms for early diagnosis. Whereas Breast Cancer Month is also a time to celebrate the incredible resilience of breast cancer survivors and to remember and mourn all those who've been lost to the disease. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and on behalf of our entire Brighton Town Board, do hereby recognize October 2020 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the town of Brighton. And we remind everyone how critical early detection is in fighting breast cancer. We thank all the volunteers who would normally rally others around this cause through walks and runs and other activities. But in this pandemic, they've found other ways to do so, including the newly minted Drive to Make Strides Against Breast Cancer, instead of the traditional Make Strides Against Breast Cancer. These programs will give patients and survivors, their families and friends, hope and inspiration. This proclamation is dated today's date, October 28th, 2020. I have signed it, but again, I've signed it on behalf of the entire town board, and I'll show it to everybody out there. And again, thank you to everyone who's fighting the good fight and winning against breast cancer. Okay, we will now go to our open forum, an opportunity for anyone to call in with any questions or comments. It can be about something on the agenda or anything else. If we can answer it, we'll try, relating to the town. The phone number to call in is 303-3060. Again, that's 303-3060. We ask that you give your name and your address, at least your street address, to Bridget when she takes your call. And we will see if it's something that we can address. While we wait to see whether anybody's going to call in, Chris, can I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda, please?
So moved, Bill.
Can I have a second?
Second. Christine.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Manley.
Aye. Thank you, Dan. No one has called in as of yet for our open forum. I do want to remind anybody, if they would like to have your comments heard with respect to the budget or the proposed 2021 assessment roles for our various districts and other special improvements, please wait until I call those public hearings, but I'm going to do those in a minute because we have not gotten any calls yet. So we'll move on. Before I do want to acknowledge our newest captain in our Brighton Police Department, Captain Jose Caraballo. Jose is here tonight for his first town board meeting while the chief is out of town at a conference. So Jose, it's great to have you here, and we will try to keep the meeting short in your honor. But we appreciate all the work you've done. 15 plus years with the department. You've worn a lot of hats, and I think so far, at least, the captain's hat looks best on you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jose. Okay, well, we will now go to our public hearings first. The public hearing on the proposed 2021 preliminary budget. This again will be our second public hearing on the budget. State law requires every town to hold one public hearing. We've always chosen to do at least two. Dan, has the necessary legal notice been given for the public hearing on the 2021 preliminary budget?
Yes, Supervisor. The notice was in the October 1st edition of the Brighton Pittsburgh Post.
Thank you very much. Notice having been given, I declare the 2021 public hearing on the preliminary budget to be open. Again, we have already heard a full presentation on the budget at our last meeting in September. We heard a somewhat condensed but still extensive presentation on the budget at our meeting 2 weeks ago. And as I have summarized a moment ago, this is a tough budget in tough times. The budget will exceed the tax cap. As you know, we approved that at our last meeting, the local law that's required to do so. But the spending increase will only be up 1% in the general budget, largely, again, a function of a number of mandated spending programming. But the tax rate will increase by about 3.4%. Again, we are not only burdened by the impact of dramatically reduced revenue, largely from sales tax and interest income, as well as programming fees, but we continue to have very little growth in our tax base, only about 0.5%. And the less tax base increase you have, the tougher it is to keep the tax rate down. So that's what we have for a tax rate this year. As of this point, we don't have anyone that has called in. But are there any questions from members of the town board on the 2021 preliminary budget? I appreciate the work that everybody has done, Paula and Suzanne, particularly in the finance department. But our sustainability oversight committee, their review, as they always do. And it appears as though we still have no comments from members of the public. We have no comments from members of the board. And therefore, I declare this public hearing on the 2021 preliminary budget to be closed. Jason, I'll ask you to make a motion.
Yes, Bill, with respect to the proposed supervisor's 2021 preliminary budget, I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second, Robin Wilt.
Thank you, Robin. Any further any discussion?
Well, just wanted to say through the process, thank you to all the department heads that rolled up their sleeves and took a hard look and made difficult decisions in a tough budget year. I mean, even though we are exceeding the tax cap, spending is only going up by 1%. And I think that struck a good balance. We are utilizing some fund balance in order to make up the difference in the loss of revenues, but we did keep a responsible level there because who knows what next year is going to bring. So we should have that safety net available just in case.
And that goes back to the whole premise of maintaining the fiscal strength of the town.
Yes.
And I believe this budget does that. Thanks, Jason. Any further comments? Then Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Our second public hearing is budget related. It relates to the proposed 2021 assessment rolls for service charges, maintenance charges, capital improvements, and sewer rent charges in special improvement districts within the town. And again, I will ask the town clerk, Dan, has the necessary legal notice been published in this matter?
Yes, Supervisor, this was also in the October 1st edition of the Brighton Pittsford Post.
And as required by the Court of Appeals, notice of this public hearing was also included in the fall recreation town newsletter. Again, I would note that state law requires one public hearing on these matters. We choose to hold 2 each year. And with that, I declare this public hearing on the assessment rolls to be open. As of yet, we have not received any comments on these. For the most part, there are increases in the charges on our special districts. We only have, I'm trying to think, 1 or 2 new refuse districts this year for the 1 new refuse district, and maybe an extension or too on some other districts, but for the most part, not a lot of changes in terms of the districts in the town. And of course, those districts allow us to provide specialized, specific services that town law directs can be done through these districts, while ensuring that only the people, only the properties that benefit from the services pay for the services. If you don't have a sidewalk in front of your house, you're not in a sidewalk district, and you're not in a sidewalk snow removal district either. So while we do in the neighborhoods use the districts to do for example, the snow removal, only those folks pay for it. If you don't have streetlights on your street, you're not paying the charges for those streetlights. That's how these special districts work, to make sure that services are out there, but that nobody pays for them unless they benefit. Again, so far, we have not heard from anybody that wishes to comment on the assessment rolls. Any members of the town board wish to comment? Hearing none and recognizing that we have received no comments from the public, I declare this public hearing on the proposed 2021 assessment rolls to be closed. And again, Jason, I'll ask you to make a motion.
Yes, with respect to the proposed 2021 assessment rolls for sewer charges, maintenance charges, capital improvements, and sewer rent charges for special improvement districts within the town, I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second,
Chris
That was
Moore.
close, but I heard Robin, so I'm going to give it to Robin. Any further comments? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. We have one item of communication to be entered into the record tonight. It's a correspondence from Karen Berger from Color Brighton Green, dated October 23rd, congratulating the town board on bringing community choice aggregation and sustainable source electricity to the town of Brighton. Can I have a motion to receive and file Karen Berger's communication?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Committee reports next. Robin, Community Services.
Thanks, Bill. The Community Services Committee met on Wednesday, October 21st, and among the items that we discussed were continuing park issues. The playground at Meridian Center Park has been completed. Our ribbon cutting occurred on October 19th under very rainy skies, but we were able to weather that storm and the park is officially open. It looks terrific. And I want to thank all the park crews for a great installation process. In addition, work continues on the grass perimeter trail at Buckland Park with hopes for completion this season. We're also continuing work with a local Girl Scout troop to make improvements on the Brickyard Trail. We discussed the potential for a donation towards the procurement of trees from the Brighton Rotary Club to add to our tree canopy in the parks. And then our park superintendent, Matt Beeman, did let us know that the park bathrooms will be shut down beginning October 31st. And so the water will also be shut off at that time for the winter season. Under recreation programs, we discussed our very successful Trunk or Treat and Trick Out Your Trunk events, which occurred this past Saturday, October 24th. Thank you for everyone who participated in the fun. We had discussions of ongoing programming, both virtual and in person. there was an announcement that our next Recreation Department programming brochure for the winter and spring programming season will continue in an online format. We will not be printing a hard copy brochure at this point, again, due to the uncertainty created by the COVID pandemic. We have several new program options coming up in both our in-person and our virtual programming. Being virtual has allowed for some creative new programming that we haven't done previously. So as always, there's a silver lining to the COVID cloud. We had some discussion of participation in the tree inventory program opportunity that has been advocated by George Smith, who is a local teacher who presides over our urban forestry group. We discussed the fact that election day procedures for building sanitation will be in place during and after voting at the Brookside School location. There will be no recreation programming conducted at the Brookside School on Election Day, Tuesday, November 3rd. And then finally, under recreation programs, very good news. We'll be discussing this as an item on our agenda. And our grab and go, meal distribution program for Brighton seniors. It continues currently at the Henrietta location, but Brighton has been approved as a site and is moving forward with completing the required training to implement that site. We hope to be distributing in Brighton very soon and potentially increasing the number of community members served through this program. So that's exciting news. An update to our Winter's Farmers Market. Work continues on the site. Walls are being framed out, alarm systems and sprinklers are being installed. We do want to let everybody know, however, that the winter market will remain outdoors this season at the Brighton High School parking lot. And those will be, the dates for that will be November 29th through December 20th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Again, outdoors at the Brighton High School parking lot. An update to our Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Advisory Board. We are working on targeted focus groups to garner additional insight for our Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Action Plan with a targeted completion date in mid-November. We are hoping to have a framework or structure in place for the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Action Plan before the new year. And just as an ancillary note, Community Uprooting Racism in Brighton was invited to do another presentation in conjunction with the Brighton Memorial Library, which took place last night. The topic of discussion was Ghost Boys by Jewel Parker Rose. We discussed some updates to our beautification committee, where there's not been a lot of activity or response from our current members. So we discussed some of the challenges facing the committee and the best way to move forward. An update to our community choice aggregation plan. Bill has provided a pretty thorough update, but again, it bears repeating that the bid price achieved was under the 24 benchmark pricing from RG&E. And so customers will be locked in at that lower rate for the next 24 months, which is a huge win. And I want to mention again, of all the Monroe County Power municipalities, Brighton was the only community to actually capitalize on the opportunity to procure the New York generated supply product that will preserve our eligibility to seek grant funding from the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority and allow us to designate our CCA as 100% renewable. In our public information sections on CCA, we're promoting also the option for community solar, which provides incentives to residents who would like additional guaranteed savings, and those will benefit the town through a portion of those proceeds being eligible to advance local sustainability projects. We held our first community meeting on October 21st, And we will be holding an additional public information meeting online via Zoom on Tuesday, November 17th from 7 to 8 p.m. In update to Brighton Safe Streets for All, Christine, would you like to update us on the Hopper program?
Sure, I'll hop to it. Sometimes I can't help myself. So Hopper is the bike share program that will be coming to Brighton and all of the regions served by RDS. The preliminary locations for Hopper bike stations have been identified in Brighton. We'll be going with 5 key locations. We should be seeing site plans for them shortly. Those 5 key locations are 12 Corners, Town Hall and the Library and Police Department campus, Lockdeville and Westfall, or Clinton Westfall, or Tops Plaza, aiming for something in that portion of town, the JCC and Canal Lock, and the MCC Brighton campus. Those sites will be launched in the spring on public right-of-way at no cost to the town of Brighton. And then expansion sites may include the major apartment complexes in our community, the MCC and U of R Medical Center sites on West Henrietta Road, Empire State College on Westfall, where many people are doing their early voting right now. Well, not at this very moment, but in this season. Meridian Center Park, the Lehigh Valley Trail entrance on Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road, providing connections to our ever expanding trail system. Possibly Brookside School and Community Center, Ellison Park or Mercy High School, that region of East Brighton, and the Clinton Crossings Medical Offices Complex. So again, this is an expanding program. Again, at no cost to Brighton, but with great benefit to all of us for being able to connect our opportunities for movement throughout the community and throughout the region.
Thank you so much, Christine. And in further update to our Brighton Complete Count Committee, that is the 2020 census. Unfortunately, the census was abruptly ended by Supreme Court ruling on October 15th. So numbers have been collected, and Brighton ended up with a lucky 77.7% self-response rate.
We got to win something for that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, which while it was short of a complete count, it was much higher than the overall New York State self-response rate, which was just at 64.2%. And I just want to thank everyone for having participated in the 2020 census. In update to our mobile African American history display, Kelly Cheadle and Mary Jo Lanphier, our town historian, are working on the display, and we hope that will be delivered in early 2021. We will be discussing our green amendment later in the agenda. The Sustainability Oversight Committee did send a letter in support of the town board taking action on a resolution to state representatives in support of a green amendment. And we are going to be proceeding on that this evening. And finally, an update to our racism as a public health crisis resolution. We are seeking town board support of a resolution declaring racism as a public health crisis, much like we have taken action in support of the Gender Identity Non-Discrimination Act. And so we're in discussions of procuring some statistical information on racially disparate outcomes within the county, and trying to procure general agreement on a resolution that would send a strong message to the Assembly and Governor on this important topic. Again, our Only upcoming event is the public information meeting on Monroe Community Power, which again will be via Zoom on Tuesday, November 17th from 7 to 8 p.m. The next meeting of the Community Services Committee will be on Wednesday, November 18th, 2020 at 9:30 a.m. at the Brookside Recreation Center. Again, if you do intend to attend in person, we ask that you notify us just so that we can continue to safely distance. But as always, members of the public are welcome to attend. That's all I have.
Thanks, Robin. And that last point is an important point. We continue to be operating by appointment, both at Town Hall and over at Brookside. We do ask that you let us know if you're coming to any of our 4 committee meetings, which we have brought back live because of the experience that we typically have pretty small. Those are a smaller subsection of the board and relatively not a large number of community members, but it's really important that you let us know if you are planning on coming, 1, so we can make sure you get the screening and everything else. But 2, if we do get a large enough crowd, meetings may have to be converted back to remote and held on Zoom. And we need some lead time in order to do that, simply for the safety of everybody that will be participating. So we'll move on. Thank you, Robin, for that. And we'll go to Jason for the Finance Committee.
Yes, Bill, the Finance and Administrative Services Committee met last Tuesday, October 20th. Each of the items that were discussed in committee appear on tonight's agenda and will be presented and voted upon. In addition, we also discussed, to dovetail with Bill's report at the beginning and with Robin's report for community service, the community choice aggregation, specifically the inclusion of the community solar energy option within the CCA program. This option will be differently from the main program, from the main CCA program, since it is an opt-in choice, whereas the community choice aggregation program is an opt-out choice, meaning residents will automatically be entered into the CCA. The solar option will provide an even greater opportunity for energy savings by our residents. And in addition, the committee did feel that it was best to present information regarding the community in October and November, and to include the community solar option as part of the January 2021 CCA program rollout. This being that rather than unveiling it at a later time and leading to confusion, to present them both at the same time and allow residents to make that consideration and receive the information now while the topic is being presented for the January rollout. Our next meeting will be a little different. We won't meet on Tuesday because of Election Day. And Town Hall is a polling place, and the main auditorium provides us enough room to socially distance. So therefore, we will be meeting on Wednesday, November 4th at 3:30 in the afternoon. We will be meeting in the auditorium at Town Hall. The public is invited to attend. However, we request that they contact the supervisor's office so appropriate arrangements may be made for social distancing requirements.
Thanks very much, Jason. Public Safety, Christine.
Public Safety has not met since the last town board meeting. However, there has been communication from Cody Dean, Chief of Brighton Volunteer Ambulance, in follow-up to a question from a community member posed at the last town board meeting. A community member had wanted to know whether or not when police and ambulance and fire first responders arrive at a home and the resident needs to be taken by ambulance elsewhere, whether or not the home is secured. And Chief Dean did follow up and wanted to share that his staff is very attentive to ensuring that the needs of our patients are met. And when possible, we attempt to ensure that no ovens, stoves, or lights are left on and secure points of entry as much as we are able. This, of course, isn't always possible in situations where the acuity of our patients don't allow us to see to these details, but more often than not, safety matters like this are tended to. As Chief Catholi had also noted at the last town board meeting, the police are an essential teammate in this effort and often will work together to cover these goals. When the acuity doesn't allow EMS to tend to them, nearly always the officers have our back, so to speak, on covering these needs to provide added value to the residents. So there is integrated teamwork, and community members should rest assured that should they need to be transported, anyone attending to that call is helping to secure their homes and tend to their safety needs in the moment. The next public safety committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 10th at 8 in the morning in Town Hall. It is up tight against the Public Works Committee meeting, which will begin at 9. So if community members intend to participate, please do make your appointment. Please do arrive promptly on time so that you can be let into the building, scanned, and make your way to the auditorium for what we hope will be a productive and efficient meeting.
Thank you, Christine. Public Works, Chris?
We have not had a meeting since the standard meeting, which is the first Tuesday of the month. However, the Public Works Department continues with their efforts. We've done, as I've reported in the past, we've completed new paving on Ambassador and on Chelmsford. And Mike, where do we stand on Duffield at this point? Is that completed now?
No, Duffield's not completed now. We hope to get binder down on Friday and put the top course down next week, weather permitting. Friday could be a tough day.
Okay.
So we're going to see how the weather holds out.
Thanks. Of course, the big project now is underway, the leaf pickup, and Bill's already asked folks to please be responsible and keep the leaves on your own grass so that it's not in the street obstructing traffic. The Winters Farm Market interior work continues on. I dropped by there and of course scared the fellows working in there, but that is coming along, and it's going to be a great space in there as well. And of course, I took a wander over to the old milk barn, wondering, what can we do with this? But other than demolition, that may be the only thing, I'm afraid. But that Winters Farm Market first building is coming to completion. It's going to be great. Also, the trail connection over there is in place so that we can link up the Buckland Park Trail with the Brickyard Trail as well. And our next meeting it would ordinarily be on the 3rd of November, but because of Election Day, where all our public spaces will be consumed by the voting process, we've moved that to November the 10th, which will follow on after the after the public safety meeting, which starts at 8, and we hope to get off our meeting at 9 as well.
Thank you, Chris. Both of those meetings that were normally scheduled for the 3rd and now moved to the 10th have alluded to it. Because of Election Day, because of our desire to protect the safety of our staff, as well as the safety of people that are coming in to vote, town employees will, for the most part, all be working remotely, at least those of us that work here in Town Hall, in the main part of Town Hall, or who work over in Brookside at Parks and Recreation over there. They'll be working remotely, or in the case of some of the workers that work outdoors, they'll be working outdoors as they normally do. But we don't want to be coming into conflict or contact with people voting. We want the voting experience, which has been extraordinary so far, with people early voting in numbers never before seen, We want that opportunity to be safe. Both Brookside and Town Hall are election day polling places. So town staff will be working remotely that day. Next, we'll go to new business. Jason, the reading and approval of the claims.
Yes, Bill, earlier today, I reviewed claims totaling $902,267.01. Notable claims include to BLM Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $55,732.70, representing partial payment number 2 for the Farmers Market Phase 2 renovation project per town board awarded bid. Also to the Depository Trust Company in the amount of $62,606.25, representing payments of principal and semi-annual interest for the 2018 Parkland serial bonds for the land on Westfall Road adjacent to Buckland Park. Of that amount, $45,000 was toward principal. Also to DeLacy Ford Inc. in the amount of $117,213.87, representing payment for purchase of 3 2020 Ford Hybrid Explorer Interceptor patrol vehicles for the police department per the 2020 approved CIP. Also to Iroquois Rock Products / Dolomite Group in the amount of $77,053.82, representing payment for asphalt for the Ambassador Drive project. And finally, to NYE Automotive Group in the amount of $25,429.30, representing payment for the purchase of 1 2020 Ford Fusion Hybrid unmarked police department vehicle utilizing the state OGS group bid process. The claims all appeared to be in order, and I move they be approved.
Thank you, Jason. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Christine, if you do the next one, please.
The next matter seeks to declare as surplus one 2005 Chevy Silverado to be sold at live or online auction. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Any discussion on that? This is something, again, contemplated through the CIP. Its replacement vehicle was being purchased as planned. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Don't go back on mute, Chris. I'll have you do the next one.
Thanks. The next item is to authorize the supervisor to execute an amendment to the municipal.
You're back on mute, Chris. Chris, we can't hear you. You're muted.
By moving my cursor away from the screen, it goes back on mute. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
That is to authorize the supervisor to execute an amendment to the municipal snow and ice agreement with the New York State Department of Transportation by increasing costs for the 2020 to 21 year by $7,128.72. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second, DePonzio.
Discussion on that? Mike, this is reimbursement for too much snow.
Well, for snow and ice removal, it's some of the good financial news. If it's, I mean, it's only $7,000, but it's 7,000 more than we're anticipated to get last year. So
Right.
somewhat
Right.
good news.
Yep. And hopefully we won't have a bad snow year.
We're hoping.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Dan, please call the roll unless there's further discussion.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Robin.
The next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to enter into a no-cost agreement with the Monroe County Office for the Aging to provide meals for the Senior Citizens Grab and Go meal program. Further, to approve required food service training for 3 staff at a cost not to exceed $450. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second. Werner.
And again, this was mentioned by Robin in her report. Our seniors have been going over to Henrietta, but this will give us the opportunity to handle a larger group and handle our seniors here. Initially, they weren't in a position to expand locations, but we twisted their arm. The rec department twisted their arm, and we appreciate working with the county to make it happen. We've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Robin, I'll let you take the last one as well.
Sure. The next matter seeks to approve a resolution supporting the Green Amendment to the New York State Constitution. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
Second, thank you, Christine. As you see, both in the letter from the Sustainability Oversight Committee, as well as the letter from Robin and myself, there are a number of reasons why we believe that the Green Amendment is good for Brighton and reflecting the clean world that we live in, clean water, clean air, as a basic right of all of us. The legislature, without a lot of fanfare, actually, which is a little surprising to me, the legislature, anytime you have a constitutional amendment, 2 separate legislatures, 2 separate sessions have to approve it. So in 2019, the Green Amendment was approved both by the state Senate and the state Assembly. And it is hoped that in 2021, the newly elected senators and assembly members will again approve the Green Amendment. Then it will go to the governor for the governor's signature. And the hope of this letter is to encourage whoever our elected senator and assembly member are as of the first of the year serving in the next term to express our support and encourage them to support it as well. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Matters of the supervisor, I obviously already addressed a couple of things. Really, the one other thing I just want to remind people, please vote. We're in the early voting period now. I voted on Sunday at Empire State College on Westfall Road. Got through pretty quickly. I know people have been standing in lines for a little while. And there we go. There's Dan with his vote mask on as a reminder. So if you can vote early, please do. It's too late now to request a mail absentee ballot. And if you have an absentee ballot and you want to use that rather than early voting, you can if you've got it already. But what I would encourage very, very strongly, I would encourage you to do, rather than put it in the mail, at this point, take it to one of the polling places. Take it to Empire State College or one of the other many polling places throughout the county. Maybe there's someplace close to where you work or shop. You don't have to stand in line to drop off that mail-in ballot. Every polling place has a ballot box that is available during the hours of early voting. So that will continue through November 1st, the early voting.
Bill, can I add as well, if a voter requested an absentee ballot to mail in because of mobility challenges, if it's difficult to get yourself with that absentee ballot to a drop box or polling site, it is acceptable to hand that over to another trusted individual to deliver on your behalf.
Yes, yes, it is. And that's a great reminder too. Thanks, thanks, Christine. However you vote, whenever you vote, just vote. It's up to us. The decisions we make help our country make the decisions that we all have to live with for the next 2 or 4 years. So make a plan and vote. That's all I have. Matters of the attorney to the town. Ken?
I do not have anything this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan is really ramping up as our election day guru in the clerk's office. Dan, anything you want to add?
That's really it.
Vote.
At this point, that's the message. If there's any questions, we've had a number of polling sites that opted out this year due to COVID concerns. Those have all been replaced, and thankfully the Board of Elections has sent out corrected mailings to anybody who isn't an affected polling site. So if you've got a second letter from the BOE, make sure you open it because it's got the new location. I'm working with Tim over in the sign shop at Highway, and we're getting some signage for the closed locations so that if somebody does show up there, it'll direct them where their new site is with my office's phone number if they have any questions about where that is. And then, yeah, I think now we're just crossing T's and dotting I's in the prep stages.
It's always a long day, and it could be longer than ever this year. Thank you to you and your team for your work. And of course, installments on taxes still will be coming due in another couple of weeks. We'll worry about that at the next meeting.
We'll make sure, and we'll make sure we're sending those to the county and not to here.
Correct. Matters of the board. Okay. Hearing none, then I want to thank you, Allie and Paige. We appreciate it. And remember to vote Tuesday, November 3rd, if not sooner. And in any event, we will see you again at our next board meeting on November 10th at 7 p.m. Again, I anticipate that will again be on Zoom remote. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second, Robin.
Any discussion? Please call the roll, Dan.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Maley?
Hi, good night, everybody. Stay safe. Have a good evening.